Hi everyone, today I wanted to compare similarly priced university accommodation across Russell Group universities. In particular, we're going to be looking at accommodation that is priced at more or less £7,000, which in my opinion is on the pricey side for accommodation, so I'm hoping that there would be a nice room if I'm paying that much. The Russell Group consists of universities in London, Oxford, Cambridge, right up to Scotland, Edinburgh, Glasgow, Belfast, Cardiff, Birmingham. So most major cities we have in the UK will probably have a Russell Group university. Going into this, I expected that we might get some really nice student accommodation, perhaps in the northeast, Newcastle area, and then maybe for universities down in London it might not be as nice, who knows. And another thing I want to show before we start is about students should get their value for money. We can look at these different accommodations, and if one of them seems vastly different, we can think, are students being overcharged? Depending on the location and things, is this too expensive for what it is? I'll include links to all of the accommodation pages I'm looking at, and also it's an absolute nightmare looking at uni accommodation because some of them have one picture and it's like spend £7,000 based on this one image. Many universities and places need to update their accommodation. Some of them were good though. Okay, so we're going to go through this in alphabetical order, missing out the university of it, so that means the first one up is Birmingham. Okay, cool, so we're looking at, it's called Bournebrook in Birmingham, and it's an ensuite accommodation, and for this one the approximate price is £166 a week, which comes to £6,921 total, so more or less £7,000 for this. I'm really impressed with the 360 view on this. It really allows you to get a feel on it. More universities should do this, definitely. Okay, so going into the room, this room I think is quite small. You've got an ensuite, which is great, but it does look a bit small. You've got like a wardrobe without doors. You go up and you can see that the room has clearly very recently been refurbished. It seems like some rooms might have nice views over the campus. A really big desk, which is great. And yeah, it's pretty nice. In the interest of comparing universities, I'll just give each a sort of arbitrary ranking based on how good for value for money I think it is, and this one I'll start off with a solid 7 out of 10, so well done Birmingham. Moving swiftly on, we are going to Richmond Terrace in Bristol, at the University of Bristol. So this is £172 a week, which comes to, I don't know, I didn't work it out total, but it's about 7,000. 0.7 miles from campus, so it's pretty close, but I found the pictures of this really disappointing, and I don't think it's worth the 7,000 price tag that they're putting on it. It's you know, it just looks very sort of standard, perhaps even a bit older. No offence Bristol, I love you really. But I think it definitely needs refurbishing, and I think it's self-catered ensuite, so you do get an ensuite, which is a pro. But yeah, I think for the price tag, all of the accommodation in Bristol I found is really expensive, and it's a bit of a shame because if you live in London you get more student finance, so the accommodation being more expensive doesn't matter as much. But at Bristol you don't get any extra student finance, you're just ripped off completely. And it's not the university's fault in particular, that's just a general sort of prices that you get around Bristol. But it's definitely got a higher quality of living that, as far as I know, isn't accounted for in student finance. Correct me if I'm wrong. So for this one I think was quite disappointing. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. I'm sorry, Bristol. Okay, so next one is Cambridge, and if you know Cambridge and Oxford and those sort of unis, they're collegiate, so it's very hard to come up with a standardised price, as it varies considerably depending on which college you're at. But I found the one with the best accommodation sort of tours, and that happened to be Queen's College, so well done Queen's College. And we're going to be looking at the Old Court accommodation in Queen's College. Now I am obsessed with all this Cambridge accommodation because of beautiful views and it's so nice. And another surprising thing is I looked at Jesus College before I looked at Queen's for their accommodation prices, and it was so cheap. I think it's partly because of the really short turn lengths, but I found it to be really affordable. in terms of the prices that they were offering. Certainly more than Bristol. Sorry, Bristol. I don't mean to be pooing on Bristol this much, I actually love it. I would have applied there if I could have. Anyway, so this one, I think you're actually paying a fair bit less than 7,000. 5,460 was the highest price I could find for places in Queen's College that had good images and things. So they've got like a YouTube 360 tour. Obviously the person who owns this room has a lot of stuff. Like, I could not imagine bringing that much stuff to uni. I couldn't fit it. This person has a lot of stuff, and typical Cambridge room, it looks lovely. You've got a whole dining table in there. And then you've got a different version of a room that has a wash basin in it. And yeah, it looks really nice. I'm going to give Cambridge good points because it's cheap and they are a bit older, and if you're not as keen on old-fashioned rooms then maybe you'd rank it lower. But I love the old-fashioned rooms that they have, the beautiful arched windows. Oh, it's so nice. So I'm going to give Cambridge, well, Queen's College at least, a solid 9 out of 10. Alright then, next one, Cardiff. Now Cardiff was another difficult one because all of Cardiff's accommodation was really cheap and affordable, and none of it came up to £7,000 unless you wanted like a studio or something. So yeah, I found that very hard to try and pick one to look at, but I found Talabont North and Cardiff was my insurance choice. I know Cardiff quite well. If you pick the ensuite postgraduate extra, so a really big ensuite, you'll get to £6,356 for the total. It is 1.25 miles from campus, or a 25-minute walk, so it does have to lose points for that, definitely. It says I can view a 360 image of a room, and we'll look at the postgraduate extra bedroom. And it looks modern. It does look a lot bigger than the one we saw in Birmingham. You can see it has a mini fridge in the room. And lots of storage space, wardrobes, drawers and things. I think I'll give Cardiff an 8 out of 10 because it's more affordable than the one in Birmingham. The next one is Durham University, and again Durham was collegiate, so I had to find a college that kind of had the right prices. But the problem is with Durham, they have like no pictures of their accommodation, and I was lucky at St Cuthbert's Society because they had Jack Edwards doing the tours of it, so that was good. But the problem is, like with all the others, there's like no pictures. It's like, oh, just pick this room for £8,000 and all you get is a picture of someone sat on a bed. So please do a bit better on that. Durham is more on the expensive side, a bit like Bristol, and this room came to £7,408, I think, approximately, because the rooms are old, they all differ. And just watching this tour quickly, it's a really big room. Jack Edwards seemed to be in a bit of a rush on this video. I think he was probably told to keep it in a minute, but the room's really nice. You've got nice views. Obviously the fact you're paying £7,400 for a twin room that you've got to share is bad. So Durham will definitely lose points for that. I'm sorry, Durham. So I wish I could give it more points, but I think I'm going to give Durham a 5 out of 10 because although I'm sure a lot of the rooms are old and lovely, which as you know I like, the fact that £7,400 for a twin room, it's expensive. Maybe living in Durham is expensive. I don't know that much about Durham. Now hold on with Durham, I could be absolutely wrong because as far as I can see it doesn't seem to say the prices of a shared room. If your shared room is £7,400, that is a 5 out of 10. If it were a single room, then give it a bit more, 7, 8. Yeah, I'll try and find out what's up with this Durham thing and where the price is for a proper twin room, and I'll put it in the description, so check in there. Okay, next one, University of Edinburgh, and this is Grant House, and it comes to £7,068 if I go on view photos, and it looks nice. Run-of-the-mill sort of uni room. Obviously it does look like it could do with a refurbishment perhaps. I mean, I can't really tell from the room. I can't tell if it's new or old. It's got that almost timeless look. But as far as I'm aware, I think it's quite far from the campus. It is, oh yeah, it's about a mile from the campus, so that's not too bad, I guess. I'll give this one 6 out of 10 for Edinburgh. Okay, next one is Exeter, and this is the Lafrauda. I want to say it in like a Welsh Cornish sort of way, Lafrauda. I don't know. And this is an ensuite, and you can see they've got the little shower pod, small bed, and things. Again, this is a bit run of the mill, slightly bigger than the Birmingham one, and I do believe it's on campus, so 7.5 out of 10, I suppose. There is an argument in there all of these are perhaps worth a lot less than £7,000. So there's a question for you guys. Do you think these rooms are worth £7,000? Do you think these rooms are worth the price they're asking for, basically? Because I'm comparing them all with each other. When I say 7.5, it's 7.5 compared to the other rooms I've seen. But do you guys think they're inherently worth that amount of money? Let me know. Okay, the next one is in Glasgow, and this was the closest one that I could find in price to 7,000, and it's alright, it's catered. I think it does look a bit old-fashioned. It could do with a refresh, definitely. Here's the bedroom. So this is the picture they've included of the bedroom, and obviously that it looks very old-fashioned. I'm sorry, Glasgow. I think Glasgow could do a bit better with their accommodation, especially for the £183.75 a week they're charging for en-suites, £166.18 a week for the single standards. And as well as that, this accommodation is a 45-minute walk to campus, but they do include a bus pass. This one's really hard. I think I'll give it a 5 or a 6 out of 10. Next one, Imperial. And Imperial, I thought their accommodation actually wasn't bad. And we're looking at a, what hall is this? Bite hall? It's a standard single, so it has shared bathroom and the wash basin in the room. The view in this one in particular doesn't seem that great, but I'm sure other ones have nice views. The desk is a bit small, especially if you remember the Birmingham one we looked at. A bed, and you've got like a wardrobe built into the wall. This is hard because I know it's in London, but compared to the other ones it does underwhelm a bit. Sorry. I'm going to give it, looked at a ensuite, so 5 out of 10 again. I'm really sorry, Imperial. I'm just trying to give an honest review. Okay, and next one we've got another one in London. This is King's College, London, Great Dover Street. And this one you do get an ensuite, but much like the Birmingham one, the room does seem a bit on the smaller side. But because you get an ensuite, I'll give it a bit higher. I'll give this one 6.5 out of 10. Leeds was one of my UCAS choices for a while for maths and philosophy, and this was a hall I would have picked if I had gone to Leeds. It's called Devonshire Hall, and it looks really nice. It's a historic building, and you can probably guess by now I love historic buildings. So I'll go and review gallery. So I'm looking at the catered shared bathroom option. So shared bathroom, but it's catered, and you're looking at between 6,435 to 7,176. Of an old and nice hall. Sat in her bedroom, nice and modern and spacious from what I can see. That's quite a cool sort of common room area. Bar, obviously it's catered. Oh, and it's got a gym on site. I didn't know that. Okay, this is really nice. Ooh, Devonshire Hall. I think I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. Look at those cloisters. Okay, that is nice. Do they have chickens? They have chickens. That's insane. Okay, so good on you, Leeds. You got a good mark. And now Liverpool. Again, I think the accommodation at Liverpool was fairly affordable. I do think I struggled a bit to find a more expensive one. But this is a premier room in Philharmonic Court. Philharmonic Court, equipped with double bed and ensuite bathroom. And they've helpfully included a virtual tour. I like having that desk above the bed, and then they've got a cupboard there. That's quite good. Wardrobe. There seems to be a bit more storage than in the Birmingham one, so it's got to be higher than that. I think 7.5 or 8 out of 10 for that one. And next we're back down into London to LSE, London School of Economics, and this is Carr Saunders Hall, and it's quite far to campus, but it's London, isn't it? It's 28 minutes on foot, 23 by public transport, it says. It kind of surprised me how expensive sharing a room was. £152.60 a week for a twin room. I mean, I guess that's London prices, but yeah. Single room shared bathroom, you're looking at £227 a week, which is expensive. And this is the video tour. You've got a sort of cubbyhole desk space there. You've got another desk there. You've got your wash basin and your wardrobe there, and your bed there, and this would be £227 a week. Yeah, that's expensive. It's London, but yeah, that is quite expensive, and the fact that it's not ensuite like the one at KCL was and things, you know, we've just looked at an ensuite double bed Liverpool one that was cheaper per week than this, so I'm really sorry LSE, I think it's going to be a 5. Hey, and we're back up north again, now to Manchester. Manchester again I thought was quite affordable. The most expensive one I found was this one that was £164 a week, shared bathroom but catered. And they've got these tiny pictures on the side which isn't really helpful. Oh, they've taken one with the fisheye lens, I see. What do you guys think of these pictures? I mean, they're quite small, so it's a bit hard to see. This one is really hard. I'm going to say 6 out of 10 based on absolutely nothing. Maybe partly based on the very small pictures they have at the side and the lack of a virtual tour. Let me know what you'd rate this haul. It's quite hard to see the pictures, but they do have big windows actually. 6.5 out of 10. Okay, and now we're even further north into Newcastle Castle Leeds accommodation. 15-minute walk away from campus it says. And you can have catered accommodation I think. So the most expensive option is single catered with deluxe ensuite, and that comes to £196.84, total £7,203. So you are getting a bit more. Was LSE's self-catered as well? Self-catered, shared bathroom, single bed, and this one is like the same price. The room seems fairly modern. It looks like it was refurbished recently. I really like this little wash basin sort of area they've got. It makes it feel a bit like a different part of the room, which is quite nice. And the room seems quite big and seems to be a fair amount of storage in it as well. Yeah, I'm going on a tour everywhere now. But yeah, I'd give this one a really good mark, especially for the price. 8.5? 8? Around that number, 8.25. And next is Nottingham. Nottingham is the elite university, as I'm sure you know. And we are going to look at what was basically my room last year, Derby Hall. It's gone up a bit to 7,035p. And Derby Hall was a single study plus, so I had a double bed, a wash basin, and it was catered as well. And yeah, so very similar to that Newcastle one, except it didn't have an ensuite. And I really liked it. I'm going to put a Derby Hall room tour in the tags if you want to watch that. But you could also have a quick look around this girl's room. What would I rate my Derby Hall room compared to the others? Now, it wasn't refurbished when I was in it. I think it was £6,300 altogether. It wasn't refurbished, but I think it's been refurbished now. 8 out of 10 for you, Nottingham, I'm going to say. But the location is really nice. Actually, no, I'm going to give it 8.5. 8.5 out of 10 for my uni. Bias maybe at work there. Okay, next one is another collegiate one, and it's Oxford. Oxford again was really hard to find a set price, and again because of the very short term dates, a lot of the accommodation was really cheap as well. So I'm just going to look at the highest grade room at Oriel College. By the way, Oriel College need to take down that statue of Cecil Rhodes, please. Thanks. Anyway, moving swiftly on, this is the room. It looks beautiful. It looks really nice. Imagine having that room, showing your friends around and being like, oh, it's fine, you can sleep on the sofa. I've got a sofa in my room. It looks really nice and modern and refurbished. I bet there's stunning views, so I could really gush about these Oxford rooms. Obviously, there's different grade rooms. You can get a smaller grade. And yeah, I think it's really nice. Wow, could you imagine having that room with those views? It's just lovely, isn't it? But yeah, so good job, Oxford. Next one, Queen Mary University of London. A lot of people forget about this. So this is called Fant's House. It's an ensuite premium room. I don't know what premium means, but it's got quite a nice big window, desk, a mini fridge if you can see there, and a single bed. But at the same time, it does have a slight hospital feel to it. I don't know. So I think I'm going to give this one a 6.5 out of 10. Now I'm going to move on to Queen's University, Belfast. Again, the accommodation here was really, really affordable. I went to Belfast in September. I loved it, by the way. The accommodation, again, I thought here was really, really affordable. I think it went down to like £75 a week, which is really good. This one is called Elms BT1 and Elms BT2. Seems very nice and modern. Recently refurbished and a big bed. It actually does look quite similar to the one in Birmingham. The only difference between this one and the one in Birmingham is that this one is a lot cheaper. This is nowhere near £7,000, I think. Yeah, for this one at 39 weeks you're paying £4,836, and that was like the most expensive one I could find. So people in Belfast have lots of money to spare. This one is in Sheffield. This is Ranmore Endcliffe Deluxe Ensuite Bed. This is a really strange tour because I just started it and this guy started talking to me. Ignoring that, and a huge desk. It seems alright. It seems quite roomy compared to the other ones we've seen. Double bed is really nice. Perhaps with all this space it could benefit from a small chair or something. I don't know, given my interior design thoughts. But it's quite nice. The window is a bit small, and the big red wall. I mean, if you haven't bought stuff with you to uni that goes with that big red wall, it's a bit like, oh. Sheffield gets 6 out of 10, 6.5 out of 10. Okay, and now we're moving on to Southampton, and Southampton confused me. I didn't really understand what was going on. I can't understand what is the accommodation and what isn't, to be honest. Their website is very confusing. I tried to go on an accommodation tour and it showed me this place. I'm going to assume this place is £7,000 approximately. It doesn't seem too different to the other places that we've seen before. Is that all notice board there? Okay, it gets points for that. And the big window as well. Definitely gets brownie points for that. So I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I wouldn't mind living there, you know. UCL. Okay, another fairly expensive one. So this was just 0.1 miles from the, I guess it's a main campus, and you've got to give it points for that. But you're paying £198.73 for a room, for this room, this single room. See, again, they didn't have an accommodation tour or a 360 tour, but this is the sort of size of the room, and you're paying £200 a week approximately for it. So obviously not great, but it's London, so 6.5. Most of these seem to be at the 6.5 mark, don't they? Okay, next one, University of Warwick. Now, my boyfriend just graduated from here. Say congrats, Anch, in the comments. If you want to, don't feel forced. This one came to 6,413. It was the closest sort of price I could find to 7,000. And for that you get an ensuite, a single bed. It's refurbished. I've been inside Arthur Vic and it is quite nice. I'd say the pictures are fairly true to what it looks like. I think especially because it's self-catered as well, whereas some of the other ones we've looked at have been catered, I think it's got to lose points. I think it's going to be 5 or 5.5 for Arthur Vic. Actually, maybe a bit higher. Arthur Vic has been in no way the worst, and 5 feels a bit harsh because I feel like I've given unis with less facilities higher. So I'm going to give it 6.5. I may have to revise my ratings of the other ones. UCL goes down because it's self-catered as well, isn't it? Yeah, UCL goes down. Okay, 5.5 for UCL. Okay, and we are at the last one finally, and it is University of York. Now, again, York is collegiate, so it was a bit hard to find the right one. I thought the prices were quite affordable, but the one I'm looking at right now is Goodwick College Band 3 ensuite accommodation. You've got this lovely netted sort of curtain, a single bed and an ensuite, and then you can go more into there if you want. See, all these prices at like 6,000, 6,400, they sound alright for accommodation, but then you've got to take into account maybe another 2,000 for food or recreational stuff, and you're easily racking up like £8,000, £9,000, and how many people get that much money in their student loan? Honestly, to me, any accommodation over £6,000 that isn't catered is a bit much. You know what I mean? Your student loan will barely end up covering it if you're going self-catered. £7,000 accommodation, so it's something to think about. Even if a price sounds cheap, remember you've got to account for food. See if you can work out an approximate food budget, and then remember there'll be events you want to go to and things. So for York, I'd give 6 out of 10. And that's it, we're done, and my throat is dry. I think a lot of them are expensive for self-catered. I think self-catered could be a lot cheaper. We found a lot of, on this investigation that we did find some unis that had really affordable accommodation. Honourable mentions to Oxford, Cambridge, Cardiff and Belfast, I think. I thought they had really affordable options. Back to my hypothesis at the start, would the ones in London be not as good at all as ones in other places? To an extent, yes. So if you remember, we saw ones in like Leeds that were catered, you know, had bathrooms and all these different things. And then you have one in London that's self-catered, shared bathroom, single bed, and it's the same price. So definitely, I think a lot of them are quite expensive. So a lot of these unis, they will increase their accommodation prices by like £200 each year to adjust for inflation or whatever. But the thing is, I don't think our student loan goes up by the same amount to cover it, because if uni accommodation is going up £200 for inflation, that means everything else in general is going up for inflation, if that makes sense. So things like transport, food, activities. But then our student loan isn't going up by like £500 each year to account for that. So yeah, interesting thing to think about. What did you think about the accommodation? Do you think it's worth around that 6,000, 7,000 sort of mark? Do you think some unis are overcharging for their accommodation? If so, which ones do you think? And yeah, lots of interesting things to think about there. Let me know what you think. And yeah, bye.